And we are now, as an indication of how important this hearing is, how much we appreciate the witnesses who are here. It's really unprecedented, but the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee has arrived, Chairman Mike McCaul of Texas. And again, it's a reiteration of how important the people of Iran are as we want the best. Chairman McCaul.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for holding this very important hearing, very timely, considering the action on the floor that we had yesterday, passing 3 important bills pertaining to Iran. And I want to thank the witnesses for being here to focus on the threat that Iran poses to not only the United States, but Israel and Saudi Arabia and the whole Middle East. This week, as we commemorate 9/11 and the murder of Mahsa Amini by Iran's morality police, the administration waived our sanctions to greenlight the transfer of $6 billion for Iran, the world's top state sponsor of terror. Let me be abundantly clear. The Americans held by Iran are innocent hostages who must be released immediately and unconditionally. But paying ransom to release hostages creates a direct incentive for America's adversaries to conduct more hostage-taking. Iran is bragging about receiving this payment. The president of Iran is saying that he will do whatever he wants with the money, even though it was supposed to go for humanitarian purposes. We need a policy to deter future hostage-taking and one that contains, not enables, Iranian aggression. A nuclear Iran, let me say, is unacceptable. And I will have a resolution on the floor stating it's a policy of the United States that a nuclear Iran is unacceptable. And in diplomatic speak, I think the Ayatollah and the President of Iran understand what that means. As the IAEA just disclosed, Iran could produce enough uranium for several nuclear weapons within weeks, even as the regime continues to stonewall their investigators. That's why I'm so concerned the administration may have brokered an informal nuclear understanding with Iran without notifying Congress in violation of the Iran Nuclear Agreement Review Act. I made this point to President Biden in a recent letter that I sent with Leader Scalise and Conference Chair Stefanik. No matter what you call it, a deal, an agreement, an understanding, an arrangement, it legitimizes Iran's nuclear program. And that is bad for the United States, our allies, and our global security. Time and again, this administration continues to project weakness on the world stage, and weakness, as we know from history, only invites aggression. Under U.S. law, any arrangement with Iran needs to be submitted to Congress pursuant to the Iran Nuclear Agreement Review Act, a submission which has not yet taken place. This is not the first time Congress has been left in the dark. The special envoy for Iran, Rob Malley, was on leave for months before the media, not the State Department, revealed that he was under investigation for potentially mishandling classified information. It's very concerning, deeply troublesome, and they were not transparent with either side of the aisle in this committee. Mr. Meeks and I registered that complaint to the administration. I just believe that's totally unacceptable. And as we continue to face the lethal threat of Iran's missiles and drones that fuel deadly attacks across the Middle East and now Russian attacks in Ukraine, I am pleased this week that the House passed my bipartisan the Fight Crime Act, which imposes sweeping sanctions on anyone doing business with Iran's missile and drone program. With the UN restrictions on Iran's missiles and drones set to expire next month, which has been in place for 15 years, they will expire next month. We need to send a clear message to the international community that buying Iran's missiles and drones guarantees that you will be sanctioned. As I mentioned this week, this is the anniversary of Mahsa Amini's murder by Iran's morality police. Her murder is a tragedy and an outrage, and it sparked a revolution. A revolution I hope we can continue, because the people of Iran are oppressed by this theocracy. They do not agree with it, but they're oppressed and censored, and we need to empower the women in Iran and the people of Iran. Throughout the past year, brave Iranians have taken to the streets in protest of this brutal regime, risking their lives. The United States needs to do more to support the people of Iran and these protesters. So again, I want to thank the chairman for holding this very timely and important hearing. And I want to thank the witnesses for all you do for the people of Iran. I know that one day they will be liberated. I remember 1979, and it changed the Middle East. But you cannot keep people under oppression forever. And just as the Soviet Union collapsed, I do believe that the Iranian regime, theocracy under the Ayatollah, will collapse by the will of its own people. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.